Okay.
I'm keeping that in there. That's going in the outtakes.
Hello, and welcome to episode 7 of Mode 7, the show where we play games and talk about them. I am your host, Sergmanx, and joining me today is Monkey Man?
Don't be surprised. That's who it. Oh I don't know why you introduced me like as a question. Who else would you have on here? Someone from space?
I just wanted to switch it up.
Okay, well you switched it up. Yeah. That's fine. Just as long as we don't record these audios in space, I'm okay with it.
Oh, I sense a lot of animosity between you and outer space.
So what are we reviewing today, Sergio?
We are going to discuss a fantastic game called Axelay on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, Axelay. It was pretty interesting. So my first impressions, honestly, my first impressions of any game are usually pretty terrible. But I was like, I have enough experience playing bad games with you that I'm like, give it a chance. Give it a chance. So,
oh, God. This asshole right here.
But yeah, so in reality, it reminded me of some game that I played. I think it was on regular Nintendo like years and years and years ago. I don't know what it was called, but it was a similar type thing where like you're in an airplane and you're flying just straight, and it's like a scroller type game, and you had to shoot. So it reminded me of that one. Do you know the name of that by any chance?
There's a lot of games like that.
Yeah, okay. So it reminded me of one of them. So, right off the bat, I thought it was really difficult, and man, I could not. So I was like, you know what? I gotta switch the mode from normal to easy. And then like it took me a little bit to get used to the different weapons and stuff. So there's 3 different weapons that you could choose from, and each different weapon has its own type of missile launch system as well. So there's pod, there's side, and there's bay. So it seems like pod is the main weapon. It has the strongest B attack, but the A button is the missile launcher, and it has the weakest missiles, I think. And the side is both equal powered, and the bay has like the worst B shooter, but it has the best bombs. Is that correct?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, okay. So like, it took me a little bit to get used to like the different weapons and when to use them. And like very early in the game, in the beginning, there was like a whole bunch of flying bots, or I don't know, whatever you're attacking, and they circled you. And I'm like, how am I supposed to beat these guys? They kept killing me. But then I realized, hey, cycle to the side arm. And then once I did that, it was like, as soon as you engage that, it starts shooting from behind you into a circle and then shoots in front of you. And then if you release, it will shoot backwards again from in front of you down to the sides and then behind you. And I was like, oh, okay, now I'm kind of seeing like how this game is geared, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought it was very unique how they handled the weapon system, because a lot of games in this genre, if you get hit by an enemy like once, you instantly die, you lose a life. Now, in this game, when you get hit by a projectile, you'll lose access to one of your weapons.
Right, the weapon that you're using at the current time.
However, if you still collide into something, you'll lose your life instantly. But I do think it's pretty cool that a projectile won't automatically mean you lose. You'll just be at a disadvantage if you lose, I guess one of your favorite weapons you're using at the time.
Yeah, I like that a lot better too, because like it made the game a little bit easier and more enjoyable to play. But I was a little surprised when I did crash into some rocks, and I was like, oh, okay, I didn't really expect that. Plus, like, you're flying, so I didn't realize like what was rocks that was part of the scenery versus like, oh, it's an obstacle I could run into, or fly into, I should say, and crash and lose a life. And in the first stage, it was like kind of interesting because it was like warped. So like it was kind of trying to give you an effect as you're flying forwards that there's like some curvature of the earth or something like that.
Which is a huge feature of the Super Nintendo, Mode 7 in full effect. So Mode 7 gives it that. They were able to do that due to Mode 7. Which was very, very cool. I like it when the enemy, you can kind of see like the enemy in the distance, and as they get closer to you, they conform to normal size, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And then like the game is so interesting too because it switched it up because the second level was different. It was a side scroller instead of a front scroller, if I'm using those terms properly. And I was like, oh, okay, it changed the perspective, which also changed like how the missiles work because some of the missiles you drop them down like bombs. So that worked differently in when you're going forwards as opposed to when it's side scrolling, which was pretty cool.
The side scrolling was actually my preferred playstyle. Not that the other one was bad. I just liked how I felt like I had more control when the game was switched to the side perspective.
You know, I feel the same way, and I also feel like, yeah, it was just like easier to see, it was easier to navigate, like everything about it. I did like the side scrolling better, but you know, it is kind of cool that they incorporated both.
But I will say when you were in the Mode 7 style gameplay portions, I thought the boss fights were cooler in that perspective.
Yeah, I like that one too. Like I really liked fighting Lava Man. I think he was probably one of my favorite bosses in the game.
Yeah, Lava Man was very epic fight. I liked the boss fight from stage 3, and I liked how the music built up to his appearance, and then he just like appeared, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I like that one too. In general, the music's pretty cool in this one, and you know, like they have different sound effects for like the different blasters and the different missiles and whatever. And I like how after each stage, you also get to expand your weapon base, and you get to choose like different weapons.
Yeah, definitely, because I found that some of the other weapons were a lot more useful given the situation. Like we were saying earlier, like the missiles were, you know, they changed how they worked in the side-scrolling perspective versus the Mode 7 gameplay portions.
Yeah, and like some of the weapons, it was like they would shoot not just like one beam, but like a whole bunch of like little lasers and stuff from like the sides, from the front, and like they would all cross in front of each other, and it helped to make a much wider attack to protect you from enemies that were flying towards you or jumping towards you or whatever it may be.
It also gave the game replayability, seeing like if you want to maybe do a run of the game using only this particular weapon as soon as you acquire it, you know, like you could switch it up each time you play on what loadout you want, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And the thing about this too is like you don't have to reload anything. You don't have like energy that you could run out of. You know, it's like if you want to just keep holding down A and B at the same time to keep launching your missiles, you don't run out. You know, you don't run out of your main weapon. You don't run out of anything unless, as you mentioned earlier, you get hit and that system gets taken out.
Is there anything about the game you weren't too fond of or didn't like?
In general, I thought the game was pretty good. I did enjoy it. It was a really short play, so like that was cool. The one thing I kind of just wish that they did was like give me some type of power up or something. I feel like normally games like that is like, you know, after you like hit like a certain enemy or something, you would get like, you know, super lasers or like whatever. Even if it's just for like 30 seconds, you get some sort of power up to your weapons or invincibility for a little bit, like something, you know, like that's the only thing that I felt was really missing from this game.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of games in this genre, you'll, you know, instead of choosing your loadout, I suppose, you'll progressively get stronger as the level goes on. But I didn't mind that too much. I do like how Axelay handled its weapons. So I thought it was a good thing. I guess gameplay-wise, that might have not worked only because I guess the weapons were also technically like sort of like a life, because like I said earlier, if you get hit by a projectile, you lose access to that weapon.
Yeah, you're right.
So maybe that was the only way they could really handle that system. But
yeah, and plus like with the weapon choice, like you have 3 weapons at any given moment, so it's almost like a little bit overpowered in some sense versus these other games. It's like either, you know, it will shoot just like one beam, like pew 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 pew, and then when you get the power up, like it will change to 2, and then like you get another power up and then it's 3 or like whatever type thing. So I guess they integrated a different system pretty well.
I really like this game overall. It definitely is one of the best in the genre. It has great boss fights, cool levels, fantastic music, especially the intro to the game. I really like that song. The one thing I guess it's more of a nitpick. When you're in the Mode 7 gameplay section, sometimes it's a little disorienting.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Especially when you're trying to like see what's coming ahead, and I lost a lot of lives on stage 3 as a result. That kept messing me up. There was a lot of points in that stage where random projectiles would appear. I guess they were getting fired from the ground up into the air, and it got a little hectic sometimes, but that's really the only criticism I have with the game.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I really did enjoy it. I'm really glad we played this one. It was cool. Like I said, it was a really quick play, so I enjoyed that too.
If you enjoyed this episode of Mode 7, give it a like and comment below your thoughts on today's topic. Please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that bell to be notified when the next Sergmanx video drops. Have a good day and peace out.